Well, hello there, my beautiful souls. Welcome on into yet again another daily reading. I hope life has been treating you well. But I've been struggling to get this reading going, and I know I look exhausted. It's because I'm exhausted. So here we are. I'm working with what very little energy I have to give. But these were the cards that came out in the last attempt for your reading because it feels like you are a bit happier than you have been recently, but there is still a lot of improvement that needs to come to be so that you can be happier than you've been, you know? It feels like Spirit's saying you're becoming more of who you're meant to be, and we each need to individually learn a bit more about that, you know? Where we've been maybe focusing too much outside of us on maybe the imperfections, the annoyances, the little things that frustrate us, other people's bad energy. Now Spirit's saying look within, because this is a time for you to get your happiness, your energy in order. It's time to notice that you are a changed version of yourself while other people notice this differently. But it's also a period where you need to ask yourself some important questions, make certain adjustments in order to prioritize your inner peace, your happiness, and the success that you deserve. And so it's going to as well be a period where you're seeing things very clearly because you're very spiritual, because you're also very intuitive, because it's now time for you to maybe distance yourself from certain energies that don't have your back, okay? Also, wow, excuse me. There's a feeling of a lot of you getting certain flashbacks to a chapter, potential commitment, if you will, from the past that fell flat, or a big tower moment maybe for some of you. And they're saying sometimes when things don't work out, quote unquote, it's protection. You know, sometimes when things don't go exactly as planned and a tower moment comes into play, it's because in the end it wasn't for you, and that was a blessing, my friend. And I really feel like you're not going to want to focus on the past. It's like, I want to more than ever focus on what lies ahead, but then they're saying where you once were and where you're at, that's what needs to be focused upon. You know, it's about making the best out of what's at hand and saying, I'm not going to repeat the past, but I'm also not going to fixate or focus on the future so much, or on fixing what's currently, you know, my reality, to the point where I then make things more difficult or heavy, or I create blockage, you know? And so there's this deep knowing that you're going to feel, while sort of a deep desire for something new. And when the two of which kind of come together and assist you more than you realize in the moment, I wouldn't be surprised, okay? It's to say that Spirit is helping you feel, sense, and visualize the best, but delicately, you know, while not overdoing it once again. And then you create exactly what you deserve out of this life moving forward. And I really feel like Spirit is saying that you have been through a lot. You know, it's this feeling of, I mentioned how tired I looked in the beginning for a reason, you know. It's to say that a lot of you think, okay, I take a nap, you know, I actually get a good night's rest, and then, or several, but I'm still tired, you know, I'm still feeling sluggish. It's because, like myself, my friend, I can relate. Your soul is tired, you know, your soul is exhausted. You don't go through what a lot of you have gone through and then expect for a nap to cure it all, okay? I am very much reminding you that your beauty rest is important, you know, find the balance in it all. But you're going to feel like that's kind of the case for a lot of you, where there's just a span of time moving forward where we'll help you heal from what you've been through, but it's just not going to feel attainable or completely doable. You know, it's not going to be completed in this 1 day period. But what you can do is notice where you could be improving things slightly, you know, not giving into a bad habit for a lot of you, steering clear of what has been leaving you feeling off. But you may also notice that certain people are keeping their distance from you because Spirit's saying nothing good will come from them associating themselves with you, or vice versa, okay? Nothing. And so whoever is keeping their distance from you is Spirit saying, we're not doing it. We're not having it. That person, if not multiple people, for some of you, need to stay away. Period. There are no exceptions to it. Anyways, what else do we have? I feel like you're happier, but you're super serious. It's like spirit may come through and create a little goofiness because you just seem to only be goofy in one area of your life, and then where is it at certain other points? It's quite interesting to me how, as much as I complain about my serving job, I go in there on the weekends and there are certain goofy moments which are totally spiritually connected where we almost become a bit delusional, and you would too if you worked there, trust me. Some of the things we have to deal with are ridiculous. And so we're just trying to make the best, and, spirits are helping us kind of lighten the energy and whatnot. But it's interesting to me because that's not where you would expect that energy to be created in my life. But anyways, so you might find that certain random moments happen when you're in your own hermit mode, your solo time, and you become a bit goofy. It reminds me of last night where Spirit was saying to me, your inner child needs to heal. And they were like, adjusting my hat to make me look more, childlike. And it was funny and whatnot. And assisting. And so I wouldn't be surprised if certain random moments like that start to pop up. Okay, Spirit saying that's part of healing your soul. All right, that's part of healing that inner child who also went through a lot. Okay, your upbringing starts to take a highlight. Why? Your upbringing. Some of you feel like you raised yourself, or you feel like spirits raised you to an extent. And I'm not saying that's not the case, but we're talking about who influenced you, who helped you along the way in your physical reality otherwise, not spiritual energy. And I also feel that you are about to shine certain realities or the truth about certain people's situations to them. It's not going to be on purpose, but I just feel like you're going to play a key role in regards to this. I'm so sorry. One second. I also feel that there's something about you gaining a new perspective on something that has been annoying in your life. It could be somebody, naturally, but I feel whatever it has been that has been annoying you, now this new perspective comes to be because of Spirit, and you get to say, okay, that doesn't annoy me like it once did, right? And then there's this kind of energy coming through where they're saying, we have so many bigger fish to fry. You have many other important things that you need to focus upon to get yourself ready. So stop getting annoyed by things that are so insignificant and that you, I feel, have quite literally no control over, right? What you do have control over at this point is your perspective, how you feel and your energy. And so they want you to say, if this brings me happiness, this is what I'm going to partake in. If this brings me happiness while also helping me succeed, wonderful. We're checking two things off right there. And so when you can't help but feel like this is your priority, it's because it is. When you can't help but feel like you need to do better in life in certain ways where you've been giving yourself too much leeway, it's not to say that we're creating this ultra stern energy because it feels like there's been too much of that, but it's also Spirit saying, be real with yourself, hold yourself accountable, discipline yourself, and let's clean things up. Okay. It's not that you need to be perfect. It's not that things need to be perfect in any way, shape, or form in your existence. But we need to clean things up. You need to start saying to yourself, this is going to get in the way, and it has already. And so when you start to feel like you actually can make a difference in your life by being true and honest with yourself and making certain adjustments, that's where the magic starts to happen. Because we need you to be getting up each day, moving forward, feeling a bit more alive, more motivated, less like you're dragging, And so when this starts to come into play in small ways where you do actually hold control, right? You can actually make a difference in regards to it. Spirit saying, we're not letting you go on and create the same energy or the same results day after day. Not anymore, And you're going to feel like your mind is less of a whirlwind, all right? It's like spirits are saying less, or spirits are being less vocal about insignificant things. You're doing a lot less overthinking for a good amount of you, and that deserves credit where credit's due. You know, this deserves a focus because at times you get dizzy because of it. At times you create issues because of it. At times you even can't focus because your mind is just going, 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 going. And so when things feel more simplistic in that department, when you feel like you can process things properly and you can actually apply yourself in the right ways, it makes a huge difference, okay? But let's leave your reading at that. They're saying when things work out, my friend, remember it's for your benefit, all right? When things actually start to work out in other ways, that's also going to be more than ever to your benefit in different new ways. You're going to find that spirit is saying you deserve to be happy, happy, and the day will center around that. Do take care.